In chapter 1, I talked about my dad and how my mother had to take care of all of us on her own, and also take care of my father. But some of it, I believe, got jumbled up as I was speaking, so I just wanted to clarify the issue with my dad. He was diagnosed at 25 years old with bone disease, a rare bone disease called osteitis fibrosa cystica. Before they were able to actually determine what the issue was with my father, they thought he had Lou Gehrig's disease, but it turned out to be osteitis fibrosa cystica, which is a debilitating bone disease. It can leave the bones very brittle, and it's extremely painful. And I believe I said hereditary. So that's the part that I think got missed in chapter 1. This is chapter 2, and it's called It's a 7-Up Can, Not the Telephone. So what happened was, I was with my mother. I was at her home, and I had started coming a few times a week, sometimes more often, but every week for certain. And this one particular time I was in my mother's room and I was cleaning up, and my mother was very immaculate. I mean, she was, when we were little, everything was in its place, everything was clean. We were clean, our clothes were clean, she ironed Daddy's shirts. I mean, she was amazing. An amazing mother and wife. So, Mommy's room, she liked staying in her little room, which was in the back of the house. And in her room, she had her television and, all of the things she liked. In her drawers, her underclothes, her bras, everything was folded, everything was neat. She was extremely, extremely neat. And, but I noticed there were times when she would have her 7-Up, which I said she loved. In chapter 1, she'd have her 7-Up and her little chocolate pinwheel cookies and other treats that she really liked. And I'd finished giving her maybe 2 or 3 cans of 7-Up, and I noticed that they were empty. And so I collected, the cans from my mother's room to tidy it up a little bit. And Mommy knew, and I told her, she said she wanted another can of 7-Up, and I said, of course, Mommy, I'll get it in a minute. And so when I left her room, she was screaming for me, screaming, Pookie, what the fuck did you do with my can of 7-Up? I want it right now. And I said, Mommy, I was in shock. I didn't know what was going on, and I said, Mommy, it's okay. I said, remember I took the pop cans and I put them in the trash because you finished them. You finished drinking. And she said, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you throw away my pop can? I didn't give you permission to do that. I didn't tell you could throw it away. I want it back. And I said, Mommy, I'm giving you a new can of pop. I said, see, it's right here. It's full. The other one was empty. And she said, I want it back right now. And I said, okay, Mommy. So, mind you, I'd seen my mother upset, but this was to the extreme, on steroids. And I was really uncomfortable. I was scared, and I said, Ma, I started crying, and she didn't care if I cried. She wanted that 7-Up can, and so I kept saying it was in the garbage, and that I placed the garbage on the front porch to be picked up, and she said, bring it in here, bring the whole fucking bag of garbage back into my room, and I'm going to go through it and find my pop can. So I said, no, Mommy, please. So she calmed down, And she drank her pop, and probably after an hour or so, she was herself again. She was normal. And I'm just looking at her, and she's like, "I love you, babe," which she would say all the time to me, and throw me a kiss. And I said, "I love you too, Mommy. Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, I'm okay. Of course I'm okay." So later on in the afternoon on that same day, she was sitting on the front porch, as she often did. It was an enclosed porch. And she always wanted me to sit out there with her. And my mother smoked a lot. And I didn't really like sitting out there because I'd have to inhale her. So I did it because I loved her, and she could talk to me for hours. And so I sat out there with her, and she looked like she was going to cry. And she said, "Please don't tell anybody." And I said, "Tell what, Mommy?" And she said, "Please don't tell anybody. I'm so sorry what I did. Please don't put me away anywhere." And I said, "Put you away?" I said, "You're not going anywhere. What are you talking about?" And she said, "Remember when I was screaming about the pop can?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know why I said those things." She said, "I thought the pop can was my telephone." And I said, "It's okay, Mommy. I won't tell anyone. I understand." I said, "That's why you were so upset." I said, "I would have been upset too if somebody threw my telephone in the garbage." I said, "It's okay." And I just kissed her, and we went on talking, and everything was fine on that day. But I knew something was very, very wrong. And I talked to my brothers because they were both doctors, and one of my brothers, my younger brother, he said, "I think it's dementia, Pook." And I said, "That's what I was thinking, Lenny." But my other brother, he just said, "Oh, it's just old age. Nothing's wrong with Mom. She's fine." He was the brother that didn't accept it until the very end, where my other brother, my younger brother, he knew exactly what was going on. And all I know is I was just worried that I wasn't going to have my mother anymore. Things were never going to be the same. And things weren't the same ever again. But I learned through the journey with Mommy, and as I'll talk about in upcoming chapters, things were different, but they were the same. Things that were familiar had to be redefined so that Mommy didn't disappear. There were just a lot of mommies to deal with and to love. That's how I saw it. I had many mommies, and they all looked the same, and they all belonged to me, and I loved them all. But they were different, and that's something I had to deal with. That's the end of this chapter.